So we're here with Lee from Orbea, looking at the Rise, a brand new lightweight e-bike. It's quite an exciting bike, this one. Tell us a bit more about the development, Lee.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think before we go into the sort of details of the bike, really, I think let's take it back a little bit. And our product manager, Shabby, when Shimano actually launched internally the plans for the new EP8, he identified some potential within the EP8 motor to actually develop it a bit further. So he pitched his idea actually to Shimano, and I think they understood the concept a little bit of what he was trying to achieve with the bike. And yeah, we formed a partnership, and so for the last couple of years we've been sort of co-developing the firmware, the electronics and the batteries, and we've come up with a completely new system to our own RS specifications, and ultimately the dream of having a sort of light, quiet, responsive e-trail bike sort of became a reality for us.
So we've got the EP8 motor here, but it's completely different from what you'll find in other bikes, isn't it? Due to the software development.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've created this sort of RS, and really what that represents is rider synergy. Now, rider synergy is something that we try to capture, which is to be completely at one with your bike. So we identified a few aspects within a bike as a whole that we wanted to incorporate. Now, one of the things that we had to have was we had to be a quiet motor. We also had to have good power, good range, and then we had to take into consideration the interface and also the weight of the bike. But that wasn't just it. I mean, it was when you think about what sort of regular e-bikes actually give you, normally they're quite loud, normally they're quite heavy bikes, and when we actually looked at the power profile, the bikes are quite often delayed in when the power actually comes in. And then when as it goes up the power, you can get a big hit of power, and then it sometimes takes over your ride. Now, that is not something that we wanted to incorporate into the RS philosophy. We wanted something that would actually echo the way you ride and all of your input. And then essentially it just become an enhanced version of yourself, if you like. And that's the sort of ethos behind it, is to have a bike that can mimic your every move with no compromise. And that's the sort of rider synergy philosophy, and that is all down to the programming and delivery of the power of the RS motor.
So you're getting just enough power, the power that you need, but the important thing is it's delivered as your legs would deliver it. So the power curve delivery is the same as your natural power delivery.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that was an important part, is that when you actually look at the profile of how you ride naturally, and then when you compare the e-bike profiles of what standard motors were offering, the profiles didn't match at all. So we had to create a profile that would actually follow the same path, if you like, in terms of the power that you put down naturally and the power that is applied by the motor. And I think the key behind that is how instant the power transfer is and how instant the power transfer comes off. I mean, because you quite find with regular e-bikes you get a bit of zip when you don't expect it, and when you're easing off the power it still zips. With this bike it gives you the power as and when you need it, exactly like what your natural muscles would provide, and then when you ease off the power it's instant, and I think that is crucial to having the RS being that way.
So with the Rise, you're not carrying around that extra power that you don't need. You're not carrying around any extra battery power that you don't need. There's other stuff that you don't need that we haven't got on the Rise as well. It's a very stripped back trail bike look.
Yeah, and again, talking about rider synergy, I mean, we wanted this to feel like your regular trail bike. And that was one of the things you notice with e-bikes, is that they all have different variations of displays and bulkiness on the thing, displaying all your figures. Now, we wanted to offer as the most simplistic version of this bike, just something completely stripped back. So the only thing we have is actually the Shimano rocker, which is really discreet just there. And then we also have the interface, which is just a little box which is only going to give us two little LEDs, which one is our assistance mode and two is our battery life. And we really wanted to strip that back. And then for the power button, we've dropped it down by the bottom bracket. So that is out the way and it's not in your face when you're riding. And then all the cables are completely internal routed with the magnet for the speed sensor actually tucked in the disc rotor on the rear. So we've really stripped this back. But we realize that there's going to be people out there that want other options with this bike. So we will have the option to install the EP8 display. Alternatively, you can connect to the YouTube app and you can set the profiles and have different information there. And also we collaborated with Garmin on this bike. So the bike is going to be transmitting ANT+. And you'll have the connectivity with Garmin, and on the Garmin you'll have all the features that you'd expect. You'll have your resistance level, what percentage you got, your speed of the bike, your odometer, everything you'd expect. And then additionally to that is that for the people that's really data savvy, is you can download to the Garmin Connect, and there'll be a platform on there which is going to be exclusively to the Rise. And then you'll be able to analyze the data of how your ride has gone and how the system has performed on the ride. So you'll be able to see what percentages you've used on particular climbs, see what torque, the different sort of power output you was doing on particular times. You can really refine your ride in that sense as well. So despite the fact it's stripped back, there's a lot of opportunities and options there.
Yeah. There we are. So let's go and see how it performs on the trails.